Insider predicts unfortunate outlook for Shedeur Sanders. The Cleveland Browns face quarterback uncertainty this season as rookie Shedeur Sanders appears unlikely to see significant playing time. Multiple analysts have expressed doubt about the fifth-round pick's immediate role in Cleveland's offense. ESPN Cleveland's Tony Rizzo sparked a discussion with a fact or fiction question about Sanders' role. He asked insider Tony Grossi whether Sanders would start 3 or more games for the Browns this season. "I'm gonna say fiction. And you know why I say that now? Because I think once Gabriel gets in, he's not gonna have a reason to give it up." "I like what I see," Grossi said. Joe Flacco remains Cleveland's established starter with rookie Dylan Gabriel positioned as the clear backup. This hierarchy defines the Browns' current quarterback depth chart and limits Sanders' opportunities for meaningful snaps. Sanders showed promise during preseason action but has since seen his role diminish significantly. Reports indicate he receives limited practice repetitions and rarely participates in scout team work. This development suggests Sanders likely won't be active on game days unless injuries create unexpected circumstances. It's very clear by now that the organization prioritizes Gabriel's development while relying on veteran leadership to stabilize the offense. The Browns potentially view Sanders as a long-term developmental project rather than an immediate contributor. Sanders continues working behind the scenes, receiving developmental repetitions away from public scrutiny. The team appears determined to manage his progress carefully while waiting for appropriate opportunities to evaluate his readiness. Shedeur might be inactive for now, yet Cleveland's struggles will soon spark louder demands to get Sanders involved. The NFL can be cruel. For every rising star who captures headlines, there are just as many who face skepticism, setbacks, and predictions that cast long shadows over their careers. Cleveland Browns rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders, son of Pro Football Hall of Famer Deion "Prime-Time" Sanders, has lived in the spotlight since his days at Colorado. His charisma, his confidence, and his precise arm have made him one of the most talked-about young players in football. Yet not everyone is convinced his trajectory will match the hype. One insider, speaking on a major NFL podcast this week, painted a picture that many Browns fans will find unsettling: an unfortunate outlook for Shedeur Sanders. This isn't just about one prediction, it's about the clash between expectations and reality, between the promise of a name and the grind of an unforgiving league. To understand why such a forecast carries weight, we have to dive deep into Sanders' journey, the Browns' history, and the razor-thin line between NFL superstardom and failure. Chapter 1: The Burden of the Sanders Legacy. Shedeur Sanders has never been just another quarterback. From the moment he stepped onto the field in Boulder under the guidance of his father, Deion, he carried the expectations of an entire fanbase and the weight of a last name etched in NFL history. He wasn't just playing for himself. He was playing for Coach Prime's revolution at Colorado, for a family legacy of athletic dominance, for the millions who tuned in each Saturday just to see if the Sanders magic was real. In college, he delivered precision passing, calm under pressure, and leadership that belied his years. But the NFL is not college football. And legacy, as powerful as it may be, does not guarantee success. The insider's concern begins here. The very expectations that lifted Shedeur into the spotlight could also drag him down. Living up to his father's shadow, while carving out his own identity, is a burden no scouting report can quantify. Chapter 2: The Browns' Quarterback Curse. The Cleveland Browns know pain. Since returning to the league in 1999, they've cycled through more than 30 quarterbacks, each new name heralded as a savior, each exit marked with disappointment. Tim Couch, Brady Quinn, Johnny Manziel, Baker Mayfield, Deshaun Watson, the list is long, chaotic, and littered with dashed hopes. When the Browns selected Shedeur Sanders, optimism surged. Here was a young man with pedigree, talent, and poise. But for the insider, history matters. Cleveland has been a graveyard for quarterbacks, not a greenhouse. "Look," the insider said, "Cleveland has this uncanny ability to ruin young quarterbacks. Its organizational instability, its bad timing, its pressure from fans who've been waiting decades for consistency. Sanders may have the tools, but he's entering a system that historically eats QBs alive." It isn't about Sanders' ability, they argue, it's about the machine around him. Even the most polished gem can be dulled by poor coaching, constant turnover, and relentless pressure. Chapter 3: The Style Question. The insider's prediction didn't just stop at history, it cut into Sanders' style of play. Shedeur is known for being a pocket passer with pinpoint accuracy. He thrives when he can diagnose coverages, step into his throws, and deliver strikes downfield. But the NFL is increasingly dominated by quarterbacks who blend passing with improvisation. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, these players extend plays with their legs, create outside the structure, and leave defenses scrambling. Sanders can move, but he isn't built like Allen or wired like Jackson. His game is cerebral, calculated, almost old school. This league punishes quarterbacks who can't create something out of nothing, the insider warned. Sanders is polished, but can he improvise when protection breaks down? Can he escape the freak athletes chasing him? That's the question. It's not that his style can't succeed, but in Cleveland, where offensive lines have often been suspect, and where chaos seems to live in the backfield, a QB without elite escapability may be in danger. Chapter 4. The Mental Test. Beyond the field, there's the question of mindset. Shedeur Sanders has always carried himself with confidence, sometimes bordering on defiance. At Colorado, he was unapologetic, bold, and unafraid to clap back at critics. The insider sees this as a double-edged sword. Confidence is great until the losses pile up, they said. Cleveland fans are loyal, but they're also demanding. Media scrutiny here is brutal. If Sanders struggles early, that swagger could be turned against him. Instead of being a leader, he could be painted as cocky. And once the narrative shifts, it's hard to recover. This is where the unfortunate outlook becomes most personal. Not about arm strength or playbooks, but about psychology. The NFL tests quarterbacks in ways no college season ever could. Will Sanders bend or break under that spotlight? Chapter 5. Comparisons that haunt. Every young quarterback is compared to those who came before, and Sanders is no different. Some see flashes of Dak Prescott, steady, smart, capable of leading a franchise if given the right tools. Others see shades of Dwayne Haskins, a highly touted pocket passer whose NFL career tragically never fulfilled its promise. The insider leans toward the latter risk. Sanders is talented, no question. But this league is full of talented guys who never became stars. You need the perfect storm: coaching, scheme, durability, mental toughness. If one of those pieces is missing, it unravels quickly. The comparison game is unfair, but it's inevitable. And in that game, the unfortunate outlook looms like a warning sign.